Good morning from Breazeale's Grocery Bluegrass. We're located here at 5109 Liberty Highway, Pendleton, South Carolina. I'm your host today. My co-host Mark Stoudemire is on assignment today, so we'll have him back next week. Today is Wednesday, November the 13th, 2024. The weather outside is 54 degrees and sunny skies. The high today is supposed to reach 60. A nice crisp weather outside. I love this time of the year. Leaves are changing and weather's cool. We have a 0% chance of rain today, and it's a beautiful day in the upstate. Tomorrow the rain is coming though. We're supposed to have some pretty good showers tomorrow, so it'll be rainy tomorrow, but that's okay. We need a little bit of that water. Most of you know about the terrible storms we had in the upstate, and I'd like to remember those who weren't so fortunate as us. Keep them in your prayers, your thoughts and prayers, and if you're willing to help, that would be great, and I'm sure they would appreciate it. All you can do, and I'm sure you can go on several sites and find out how you can do that. Our internet service was out for several weeks. I don't know why. They're doing some work out here, putting in some new lines, but it was out for several weeks. But now we are back up and running. Hopefully we got all the bugs worked out of it, so glad you're back with us. Our shout outs go to Jane, Heather, Josh, Carter, Blaine, Hampton, Hudson, Kinsey, Kim, Josh, Blakely, Grant, Sil, Heidi, Charlie, Harper, and of course always loving our son Martin. Here at Breazeale's Grocery Bluegrass, we have music lessons all week. We have fiddle, classical fiddle, mandolin, bass, guitar, banjo, anything with a string on it, we teach it. I believe we have the best instructors in the upstate by far. We have the best. What can I say? For more information about lessons or instructions, or to buy an instrument or instrument repairs, which I do here at the store, you can call me at 864-376-1482. Again, that's 864-376-1482. And my name is Don. So I'll be glad to hear from you. By the way, if you're listening or watching right now, you can also call me at this time. You can give me a call at 864-376-1482, and we'll take your call, whatever you want. We'll take it and try to help you out, answer your questions. And please click on the subscribe button below there where it says subscribe that you're watching. Click on the subscribe button and you'll be on our list for our channel. Our sponsor today is the store, Breazeale's Grocery Bluegrass. We're sponsoring the show today, and we're located at 5109 Liberty Highway. We have bluegrass music Saturday night, 6:30 to 11, but we usually maybe 10 at the most now. But if you want to stay, we'll stay open till 11. So we have a lot of fun here. We pick on Saturday nights, and then during the week we have lessons 3 days a week. We give lessons here. So come by the store, 5109 Liberty Highway, Pendleton, South Carolina, or you can put in Anderson and it'll get you here as well. Again, my number is 864-376-1482. Come by Breazeale's Grocery Bluegrass. It's a cool place. It's right on the highway on 178 across from Lebanon Baptist Church. It's a little old country store. Bought it about going on 19 years ago. And the reason I bought it was my son Martin was getting pretty good on the banjo, and I said, we need a place to play. So I contacted the owner after figuring out how to find them. I found them, and they didn't want to sell it at first, but then she called me back about a week later and said, well, I talked to the other two, and they said, we will sell, but you got to buy the store, the house, 7 acres over there. You got to buy the whole shooting match. So, which I did. I bought the whole shooting match, and I sold the house to an architect over there. And he bought the house and 5 acres, and I kept the store, the pond, and 2 acres. And that's really all I wanted, was the store. We could have a place to play music. And we have them come from, I think we had somebody here from Egypt one time. Yeah, they were sitting over there. They were from Egypt. Anyway, we've had people from all over the globe at this store. It's pretty funny, but yeah, we've had them from everywhere. We got a call. No, says a missed call now, but I didn't hear it ring. Maybe I didn't have my ringer on. I probably should give them a call back here. Let me see who it is, and maybe we can get some online. Okay. Okay. Anyway, it's not working, so we'll wait for that later. Anyway, we're the sponsor today, Breazeale's Grocery Bluegrass, that I told you earlier. And again, we're located at 5109 Liberty Highway, Pendleton, South Carolina, or you can punch in Anderson and get you here. You can also follow us on our social media pages, YouTube, Facebook under Breazeale's Grocery Bluegrass, and Instagram under BG Bluegrass. And don't forget, click below. You're watching now. Click below to the subscribe button. It should have a little box in white that says subscribe. Push that button and subscribe for us. We would appreciate that. We sell hats, shirts, mugs. We also sell instruments. We sell junk food back there. Candy bars, peanuts, Slim Jims, moon pies, and we got about 6 or 7 variety of drinks back there. We also sell coffee. We're in the coffee business, so we're real big on our coffee, and I say it's the best coffee in the upstate or around. I'll tell you the story about my coffee one of these days. Anyway, went to high school together. It's a long story, probably take up the whole show, but we went to high school together. And he went into the coffee business right at high school, and he's done very well. We sell fiddles, mandolins, bass, guitars, banjo, anything with a string on it. We sell it here at Breazeale. We even have an old Chinese, what do you call that thing back there? Somebody brought it in. But we don't play it. Mark Stoudemire put strings on it. He said he was going to learn to play it, but I don't think he has yet. Okay, our sponsor for today is Mr. Gary Bell, our banjo and guitar instructor here at Breazeale's, and he's over there watching me. Mr. Bell, good to have you here. He's here every Wednesday. He never misses a Wednesday. He's here every Wednesday morning about 9 o'clock, and has students all day long up until about 6 or 7 at night. He teaches all kinds of music, not just bluegrass. He teaches blues, rock, country, folk, bluegrass, any kind of music. Mr. Bell will teach it to you on a stringed instrument. So make sure you call me at 864-376-1482, but I'm going to give you his number in just a minute. He's the brother of a longtime friend and musician, Mr. Larry Bell. I get them confused because there's Gary and Larry, and they look a lot. When he first walked in the store, I took a couple steps back because he looked so much like his brother, Larry. So we're blessed to have Mr. Gary Bell here at Breazeale's to teach what he loves to do, and that is play music. He plays a guitar, banjo, probably anything with a string on it. Mr. Bell can play it. And if he can't, he'll figure it out real quick. And we were talking earlier about, he's got so many stories. Maybe I can get him up here one Wednesday for the show to tell some of his stories. They're so interesting. He's been with some of the famous people in the bluegrass business. Unbelievable. Anyway, you need to write a book if you haven't started already. He's here every Wednesday morning, started at 9 a.m. So if you need to call Mr. Bell, his phone number is 864-517-0044. Again, Mr. Bell, Mr. Larry Bell at 864-517-0044 for any type of music lessons. Or you can contact me at 864-376-1482. Okay, today my co-host is out of town, so we did a show last week that was messed up because our our audio wasn't working properly, and there was just nobody up here, but we were here, but the cameras didn't. I don't know why. It seems like every week it's some kind of a technical problem. Now, the guys that put in the system, great bunch of guys. They're out of Breazeale. They're called Music Maker. So if you're in need of any kind of equipment, call Music Maker. They're a great bunch of guys. They came and installed all this stuff. If I call them, they're here. I mean, they're just up the road, but they're here. So anyway, it's expensive to get them here. So I worked on the sound thing last week, and there was a couple little wires, I think, touching. So I took it apart, and hopefully the sound is much better this week. So let me know. Okay, today we're going to talk about Breazeales and part of my journey. And let me start with part of my journey. And I'll kind of bring. Now, if I told you all my journey, we'd be here for a month. So I'll give you bits and pieces. I started writing a book. Haven't finished it. I got to work on it some more. Hopefully, maybe about a year and a half, I'll have it published someday. So part of my journey began in Florida. That's where I was from. I was born in Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami, Florida. My sister was born there. My brother was born there. We're all born down in Florida. Had a good family, good mom, good dad. Everything was good. My dad was a very, very, very generous man, very generous. I remember the ice cream truck used to come down the road, and every time the ice cream truck, all the kids from blocks away would run to the ice cream truck because they knew my dad was going to buy them all ice cream, and he would. I guess there might have been 10 or 12 kids there. The neighborhood wasn't real big. It was a new neighborhood. And he built the home that we lived in. He built several homes in Miami. He was a pretty successful guy. A good man. He loved to fly. He had several airplanes. And he had the passion, like I do, of flying. So, we grew up there in Miami, and then later on moved to New York for about 3.5 years. But there's a lot in between. You have to read my book to get the rest of the story. Anyway, I had a good journey. I moved here in 1980. I moved here in 1980. 1984, January the 4th, 1984 is the day I got saved. Gave my life to the Lord. And it says all the old things pass away and everything becomes new. Well, all my old junk passed away, and everything. It was a new world. It was a new beginning for me at that time. I went to Midway Presbyterian Church. I went there 15 years. Never missed a Sunday or Wednesday. Sang in the choir. And that's where I met my lovely wife, Jane. We both sang in the choir together. And after several years, we started dating. I think I'm getting it right. I don't think we started dating right off because Burl wouldn't let me. So we started dating, and then eventually we got married. Been married 34 years. 36 years. Yeah, 36 years been married, yeah. And wouldn't change it for nothing in the world. We had a son born. His name was Virgil Martin Acevedo. Virgil was my dad's name, and we gave that first name, but everybody called him Martin. He wanted to be called Martin. And I don't know if you can see it, but that's his picture behind me. I don't think you can see it, but we got his picture on the wall back here of him playing the banjo. Started a little kite. We went to a store, Dreazen Edwards in town. we're talking to Wes, he's a friend of mine, and we were talking about real estate because he wanted to buy something that I had, or I wanted to buy something he can't remember. So my son looked up on the wall. He was a little guy. He said, "Daddy, I'd like to have that banjo." I said, "Yeah, I'd like it too, but you don't know how to play a banjo. You don't even know how to play an instrument." So Wes heard the conversation, came over, and he said, "I'll tell you what, I'll let you have that banjo, a nice case, for $600. If he doesn't pick up on it, you can bring it back and I'll give you all your money back." I said, "Well, that's a win-win situation." So I got him that banjo, and at the time, the instructor there was Al Osteen, a heck of a guy, heck of a musician. Al Osteen was the instructor, so I got him started with Al Osteen. And Al moved to Greenville. He quit teaching there and went to Greenville. I think we went to Greenville a couple times. And then he was going to move from there to his house on Highway 11 towards the mountains. Well, that was kind of a clip to drive. So we never did go take a lesson there. So I took him to House of Music in Seneca, I think was the name, House of Music in Seneca. And they had a banjo teacher there named Charles Wood. I think he's a 3 or 4 banjo champion to this day. And he teaches here every Saturday morning. I'm blessed to have him as a teacher. High end, boy. So anyway, we got started with Charles, and you know, he went back in the room. I just sat out front, waited for him. 30-minute lesson. So he would come home and practice. One day he was in his room, and I'm going, "Hey, that sounds pretty darn good. That little kid's getting better." And he got better, and he practiced, got better, took lessons, got better, took lessons, got better, practiced, and he became a very, very, very good banjo player. And I owe that to Mr. Larry Bell over here. Took him under his wing, kind of, and started teaching him lessons. Anyway, we just have some people coming in for lessons. They'll resume lessons after the show is over. We got a little bit of time. So anyway, he started lessons with Charles Wood, Seneca, and he got pretty good. So one week we went for lessons. By the way, at this time I didn't play instruments. I put up the fiddle, which is something I played. That was my first instrument. I'm a fiddle player, but I didn't have a fiddle. I didn't have a guitar. I had no instruments at all. Martin had that banjo I bought, Breazeale Edwards. So anyway, Martin came out of his lesson one day, and we went home. And he said, "Daddy, you ought to get a guitar or something. We can play." And I said, "Nah." I said, "You doing good. You don't need me." So anyway, the next week, I don't know if maybe Martin said something to the owner. He was a cool guy, old guy, cool guy. Said something to him or not, but Martin went back there for a lesson, and he said, "I got one more brand new Martin D28 guitar still in the box, in the case, for sale. You need to get a guitar so you can play with your boy." I said, "I don't need a guitar." So he took it out, and I started strumming with it, and I fell in love with it. Anyway, long and short, and I walked out with a new D28 Martin guitar, which I have today, and I love it. Actually, a couple years ago, I sent it back up to the Martin factory in Pennsylvania. They had it for about 7 months, and they took it apart, and the only thing I wanted done was the sound bars. Just take them down as much as you can to get that volume out. And so they did, and boy, it rings like a top now. I love it. So anyway, we moved on, and we started going to he got really, really good on that banjo. I'm telling you what. And I was amazed that he stuck with it, and he loved it. Not only stuck with it, but he loved the banjo. He loved playing it. So every year we started going to SPIGMA. That's called the Southern Preservation of Bluegrass Music Association. We've been going for, 15 years or something. I mentioned Mr. Gary Bell that he took banjo from you, didn't he? No, Larry. Yeah, I mentioned Larry earlier that he took. Actually, Larry's the one that got him to where he was. So anyway, we went to SPIGMA, Southern Preservation Bluegrass Music Association, which we go every year. It's the end of January, 1st of February. But I think next year it's going to be the end of all of it's the end of January, last weekend in January. Anyway, so we go there and they just play in the hallways and rooms and stuff. Martin would always take his, I think it was Epiphone banjo or something, whatever I bought him down there. Oh no. When he was taking the lessons at Breazeale's, what was his name that taught him?
Patent wages.
No, taught at Breazeale. I just mentioned his name earlier. Can't remember it. Al Osteen. We were there for a lesson. Al said, "Hey, I got a nice Gibson banjo in my car. Nice case. A friend of mine needed money, so he's got to sell it." So I looked at it. I didn't know anything about banjos. All I knew was Gibson was a good product on banjos. So Martin played it and he loved it. So I bought it for Martin. And that's what he played till we went to SPIGMA one year. And then at SPIGMA there's a room, I mean it's huge. Every vendor, I didn't know there were so many banjo manufacturers. There's probably 5 different banjo manufacturers all over the country. I never knew it. All kinds of banjos. Well, Gibson has their banjos set up as well. So, you go down there, they have Martin, they have everything. Bass, I mean, all the instruments. So, Martin was down there at the Gibson place, and they had a gold limited edition Gibson banjo. I think I'm getting this right. I didn't research it, but what they told me was they're going to only make 15 of these limited edition banjos, and there'll be no more. Gibson they made a run of so many specialty items, and then there'd be no more. So he was sitting down there playing this gold Gibson. My son went, "Come here, Daddy," and I went over there. I said, "Oh, excuse me, let me turn this thing off." I went over there and he was playing it, loved it. And he said, "What do you think, Daddy?" I said, "Nice banjo." I started walking. It's $15,000 banjo, So I said, "Not going to happen today, brother." So I started to walk out and he's sitting there still playing it. Well, as I was walking out, I guess one of the managers for Gibson was coming back in, tall fella. And the guy that was with my son was pointing. So the guy stopped me. He said, "Oh, is that your son over there?" I said, Yeah. He's looking at that nice Gibson. And he said, I said, "But I can't afford 15 grand. I'm telling you right now." "Well, come over, maybe we can make a deal." I said, "Well, I'll hear what he's got to say." So anyway, they offered me, I think it was $200 more for Martin's Gibson than what I paid for it. So when he said that, I said, "Oh, maybe, that'll knock that price down where it's reasonable." So we kept negotiating. Long and short in it, Martin walked out with that gold Gibson master tone banjo, which I have at home, and that's the one I play when I'm at home, his banjo. I don't take it out of the house. So he bought that, and I got that for him. And you banjo players, there's something about a Gibson, and I'm not a true big time musician like Mr. Bell and some of these other high end folks. I'm not. But when you pick up a Gibson banjo, for some reason, they play so much cleaner and better. So I have a banjo over here in the corner that was made by the guy that worked for Gibson for 27 years. He went on his own, and a very nice guy. He tried to copy the Gibson, but you know, you can't copy for copyright laws. So he got it as close as he could to a Gibson, the sound, everything. That was the first one off his assembly line. Nice fella. So anyway, something about a Gibson banjo. I would play this, and I'd go to Mark Stoudemire's house at night to practice. I mean, we'd pick. I'd go there on Thursdays just to pick. So I'd pick up his Gibson. And I played that thing. You thought I was a professional banjo player. I mean, clean, smooth. I said, what is it about a Gibson banjo? And every time I pick up a Gibson banjo, it's different than that one. It's different than that one. There's something about a Gibson banjo that nobody can find. I don't know if it's the wood, blah, blah. Anyway, they're not making Gibsons anymore because the factory flooded. So if you can find a good RB3, RB250 master tone, clean one at a good price, buy it. Got about 3 minutes. So anyway, that's part of my story about banjos and Spigma. By the way, Spigma's coming up. I got a form right here. If you want to go to Spigma, again, the Southern Preservation Bluegrass Music Association, call me, 864-376-1482, and I'll get you a form, or you can come by the store at 5109 Liberty Highway. I'll give you a form, and you mail it to Monica Bates, and with a deposit, with the check for your room. They have one king-size rate, 2 queens, junior suite with connecting kings. They have roll-away beds, so if you have an extra guest in your room. And then they also have shows that they have during the day. Every day they have shows, and you can purchase those tickets here as well, or you can purchase them when you check in with Monica. And this is the 50th Annual Bluegrass Awards Show. January 23rd through the 26th, 2025. Put it on your calendar. Don't forget. And if you want to go, call me 376-1482. And we've got a few minutes left on the show. So thank you for watching today. We hope you come back next week. And I think we got all the bugs worked out of our audio and video system for now. For now. There's always, when you're dealing with this technical stuff, always something comes up. The guys that came here the last time, they wanted to sell me, they got a new box now, a lot faster, easier to work, cleaner. He said, we can put it in your system for $2,000. And I went, no, not today, but at some point, I know I'll have to upgrade the equipment because, as you know, once they come out with new equipment, it's already outdated. So anyway, that's how it goes. But thank you for watching today. Hope you enjoyed my little rip-rap today without my co-host here today. But I enjoy it. I really enjoy doing what I do here and talking to you folks. So come back next week, same time, same station, 11 a.m. Wednesday morning for the Don and Mark Show. Bye.